He put this syncopated rhythm here to help us change styles. We're going to go into the ragtime section next lesson.
Rise to ragtime heaven.
Though most people call this section of The Dance of Eternity a ragtime solo, ragtime is generally not swung. This solo is swung, making it a stride solo. Stride is an early jazz genre that grew out of ragtime. Stride is named for the large leaps performed by the left hand. Ragtime also has these leaps. For the purpose of convenience and for everyone's general sanity, Matt McDermott will refer to this section of The Dance of Eternity as the ragtime solo. Though it may be more accurate to call it a stride solo.
Wow, we made it. We're finally here in ragtime
Not really.
heaven. There's Jelly Roll Morton. There's L.M. Gottschalk. And there's Scott Joplin. Let's see what we'll be learning today.
All right, so we're in E minor, so real quickly I'm going to show you an E natural minor scale. I'm also going to show you some chords. We have an E minor chord, which is used quite a bit because we're in E minor. We have a dominant seventh chord. We have different dominant seventh chords throughout this solo. The B dominant 7 is used a lot because it is the 5 chord in E. So the 5 chord loves to go to the 1 chord. We also have diminished triads, which are part of a dominant 7th chord. We have half diminished 7th chords. Half diminished 7th chords can also be called minor 7 flat 5 chords. Let's take it 2 measures at a time. The first 2 beats at the right hand are taken from the previous section, which we learned last video. As I said in the last video, it's just an E minor arpeggio with some passing tones. This time, however, it is swung. Then we have these descending chromatic octaves, which lead us to our B major arpeggio at the end of these 2 measures. It's actually a B7 chord because we have an A in the left hand. The A is the 7th. All right, let's hear that right hand. The left hand is all broken chords in a stride style. The first measure is all E minor. We move from a C sharp to a C7 to a B7. The B7 is the 5-7 chord. All right, let's hear that left hand. Let's hear both hands slowly.
Faster.
Next two measures. The right hand starts the same as it did the last two measures until we get to this octave E. Then we have these octaves that lead us up to an F sharp, and then we jump to this B tremolo. Those octaves are definitely the most difficult part of this. Even I don't think I played them completely cleanly in any of these takes. I think I came pretty close. You can even see Jordan messing it up sometimes in one of his videos on how to play the Dance of Eternity. So it's a really difficult part. So my advice would be to stay loose and don't try so hard to make this part swing. It's okay if they come out more even. That makes it a little bit easier. I noticed that Jordan basically plays them as straight 16ths in this video. Let's hear the right hand. The left hand starts with that same E minor pattern from the first measure. Then it moves to an F sharp 7 chord and then a B7 chord. F sharp 7 is the 5 of B7, and B7 is the 5 of E, and we're in E. So F sharp 7 can be called the 5 of 5 because B is the 5. So that's what's known as a secondary dominant. All right, let's hear that left hand. Let's hear both hands slowly.
Faster.
Next two measures. There's a lot of nice syncopation in the right hand here. It starts with a 16th rest, so we come in on the E of 1 with an E minor triad. The E in that chord moves down chromatically to a D sharp and then to a D to give us a G augmented triad and then a G major triad. The next chord is a C sharp 7, which then moves to a C7 and then a B7, otherwise known as the 5 chord. We saw this progression already in the second measure. We have a lot of chromatic movement in these two measures. The left hand moves from an E to a B. Again, we're moving from the 1 chord to the 5 chord. Also chromatically, it just rocks back and forth in octaves. Let's hear the left hand. Let's hear both hands.
Faster.
Last three measures. Let's analyze both hands. Right hand starts the same as the previous two measures, but when we get to the second beat, the E moves down to a D sharp, just like before. We also move up to an A. So I'm going to say this is a D diminished triad. If you include the left hand, you get an F sharp, which is part of our D sharp diminished triad. This D sharp diminished chord moves up chromatically to an E diminished, which moves to what I'm going to call an E add 9, but it's a weird chord. You could probably argue about what it is. The third is in the left hand, which is maybe a little bit strange. And the next chord I'm going to call an F sharp half diminished, also known as an F sharp minor 7 flat 5. It ends on a B7 chord, which is the 5 chord. So the last two chords would be a 2-5 progression, very common in jazz. However, due to the A in the left hand, people might want to call this an A minor 6 chord, making it a 4-5 progression. Both hands are ascending the entire time until we land on the B chord. The right hand moves down from C to B. The left hand is ascending all the way up to B. Ascending steadily chromatically like that builds a lot of tension, so it's a good way to end the solo and transition into the next section of the piece. The section ends with this fun gliss down to a B. Let's hear the right hand. Let's hear the left hand. Let's hear both hands.
Faster.
Let's hear everything we learned in this video, the entire ragtime
Not really.
solo.
Like and subscribe if you like this